everybody. I've got to do a little bit of a disclaimer because things have been stewing. When you watch my videos and I'm explaining how things work, maybe how I do things, and I do not want to give the impression of arrogance or self-obsession and that I think I'm actually any good at the things that I do. My opinion of myself is actually quite low, to be honest, so please don't think I'm trying to act like I'm good at these or I know how to do it or the correct way to do it. I don't. Just know I'll tell you how I do it, how I've been to certain jobs, I was taught in certain jobs, I just did it, you know, sort of figured it out on my own, like this job, just sort of got it on and just figured it out. Other jobs I was given some guidance on. So please don't think I'm saying I'm good. I spoke to George Saunders at Lama and Dino and Lord Muck, and especially Dino and George were trying to get across. They say the same thing. Don't want to come across as being arrogant or saying this is how you should do it, because it's not. It looks like it because we're videoing ourselves. It looks like I love myself because I've got a camera in front of my face, but I don't. I love my job. I love the fact that other people are interested in this, because I felt quite alone as a child being into this sort of thing, and it's great that I can share it with people, because I have a real passion for this, real raw sort of passion for farming and for farming machinery. So yes, please don't think I'm being arrogant or self-obsessed or anything like that. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, hobnobs and broomsticks. It's another dreary, dull, grey, wet. I mean, it absolutely hammered it down last night. English day, so that everything's wet. It's not travelling very well. But we're running out of time now to get the hedges done, so I've just got to keep pushing on. Yeah, so I'll talk you through what I'm doing. Obviously I'm cutting a hedge. Now we've been part of a scheme where we were only allowed to cut the hedges once every 3 years. So you know, it's a conservation thing, so the birds, you know, we're not disturbing the nests every year. Whereas I'll leave it open to opinion whether it really works or not. Still undecided, because when you leave a hedge for a long time not cutting it, it tends to go really like long and straggly and stringy. You maybe can't appreciate from the view there quite how straggly this hedge has got. It's not very thick, there's not really much cover in there, there's not much of a canopy or a side to it. So you probably see me at the minute, because the hedge, when I started, I mean I've done a couple of passes on this already. When I started there was about between 4 and 6 foot of growth on it. Now this hedge, when they planted all our hedges way back in the day, they put different varieties of hedge in it, so it wasn't all the same. Some of them have a tendency to grow like, basically like mini trees, you know, so sometimes you get like, you know, 3/4 inch thick branches that you've got to try and get through, and it shakes this edge cutter to pieces. But you've got to do it, and it takes, well, you can see that's my second pass now, and I'm still nowhere near at cutting depth. So trying to explain go about doing them. So the general rule of thumb, if the hedge hasn't got too much growth on it, start from the top and work my way down. Some people like to start from the side, some people like myself start from the top. I always start from the top, just like my sort of theory is the stuff that you're cutting, you know, sometimes it gets hung up on the branches below, the twigs below, and you're working your way down the hedge, you're sort of catching them again and you're mulching them, and you're making them fall through. So when you finish, you don't really end up with too much rubbish sat on top of the hedge or sat on the side. Now with the hedge being this long, can't really do it like that, so I've started from the top there and I've took a lot of the growth off. Now I'm going to do a pass along the side, a rough pass, to take the thick of that off, and just keep nibbling away at it. You can't dive it straight in because it's no good for the hedge cutter, it gets hung up on everything, so you just got to take little bites at a time. Just keep taking a little bit off, a little bit more, and then depending how long the hedge is, however many passes. You know, if the hedge was, you know, been maintained, then, you know, for a year's growth, sometimes you can get away with just one pass. A lot of the time it's just two passes, you know, one rough pass and then one pass to finish. So just keep nibbling away at this here now. As well, what you from a member of the public's point of view, when you see these guys on the side of the road doing this job, you probably don't appreciate how much effort and pride people take in doing this job. It's one of the jobs of the farm where I think people can have either got it or sort of they haven't, because you're not really too bothered about what sort of job you make. You know, you just leave the hedge rough and get the job done. But I take a lot of pride in what I'm doing, and with everything I take a lot of pride. I want everything I do to be the best of my ability. Like I'm only as good as the last job that I did, so everything I do I want it to be good. Sometimes I take a little bit longer than anybody else would, but if someone drives past it and someone says, "Oh, did that? Oh, Johnny did it," and it's not too good, then I hate the thought of someone looking at my work and thinking it's not very good. Look at that, see, I mean, I don't know if you can see that, all that growth there. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like tree surgery, it's not like hedge cutting. And I can't really, because I'm pushed for time, I can't really pick a nice, decent hedge to show you where it looks all pretty and lovely at the end, because I don't think this will. Yeah, so I don't think people can appreciate how much work goes into it. So all the time, you're on the controls. It looks, to most people, it looks like it's not moving, but from a driver's point of view, you're always just tweaking it up, tweaking it down, adjusting the angle of the head. So when you're going down the field, it's a bit rough, and if you weren't to touch it, the boom would just bounce and then bounce down again, and you'd be in and out. So you'd end up with a great gouge taken out of the hedge, then a great hump, then a great gouge, and when you're cutting the side, you'd end up with it tucked right back, and a load of it stuck out and tucked right back in. So I don't think from a person who's never done this job, and just looking from the outside, how much effort goes into it to make a nice job. And if you see, you know, if you're driving down the road and you see a nice flat hedge with a really level top and a nice side, maybe appreciate how good that person is that's cut that. Some cracking blokes. A lot of blokes around here, that this is all they do. They've got a tractor, hedge flail, and that is all they do. And my God, it's like, well, it's like a tabletop when they're finished. They can be going down a road that, well, a track that's nothing but. I'll come back. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, just talking about people around here that do it as a living. Yeah, they can be on a track that's just completely full of potholes, and it's still like a tabletop that's a finish. They are very, very good. So just like, I sort of want to get a point across in these videos as well to the general public and people that don't do this, that when you see a tractor in the field, there's not just a guy sat in there doing absolutely sod all. There's a lot of thought and a lot of pride and a lot of effort that goes into doing what we do. A lot of people don't appreciate it. You just see a tractor in a field and a lot of people just presume it goes up and down. I've had no end of people say to me, don't you get bored just going up and down all day? And when you're doing the job, you're not just going up and down all day. Alright, physically you are, but you're always on the ball trying to make sure you're doing a good job, keeping it, like getting your implements set right, keeping an eye on what's going on. Just it depends on like what jobs you're doing. If you're doing drilling, you have to be really on the ball with it. You have to be constantly checking what you're doing and looking behind you, making sure you're not dragging a load of crap with you, or you're bunged up, you know, having to get out and make sure your spout, you know, your coulters aren't blocked up, no blockages. Check your seat depth is correct, and things like that. And then when you're on the headland, you know, making sure you're not paddling it to death. There's a lot of effort that farm workers, you know, tractor drivers and farmers in general do, which sort of goes unnoticed by the general public. So hopefully in the course of my videos I can change that. Oh, Jesus Christ. See what annoys me a little bit about this hedge cutter, first thing in the morning, when it's cold, I don't want to lift up, pull it back on a stick and you're going lift, lift, and it just sits there and then lazily goes, oh, I'll go up now. When it's warm, it's alright, which is sort of the opposite way around with hydraulics. Normally when things are cold, they work a bit better. Yeah, so that's that top nearly there now. So what I'm going to do next is, I took quite a bit of thick off this side. I'm going to have another pass down this side, and I'm going to reach. There's a dike at the other side of this hedge, and if I was at the other side, I couldn't reach to this side of the hedge. So now I've got a basic line of where I want to be. I'll extend the hedge cutter out, reach it right across, and try and get as much as I can from that side. If you're wondering why I'm doing a bit then backing up, because there's a dike at that side, it's sort of pointless me going all the way down to the bottom of the field, then drive all the way back up again. So I just do it in sections. I'll do a bit, drive back up, do it, and just work. By the time I get to the bottom of the field, I've finished it and I'm ready to go. Some of you keen-eyed people might have noticed that I've not touched the steering wheel. Now, sometimes, and when I get away with it, we've got GPS on all the tractors, and all the fields I've been in, we've got AB lines in. I've got AB lines in most of the fields on the farm. Oh yeah, and I just find, I know it's a little bit lazy, but while I've got it, I may as well use it. So I just find the AB line that runs parallel with the hedge and set it going, so I can just sort of concentrate on what I'm doing with the hedge cutter rather than, you know, constantly flicking back and checking my steering all the time. It really does make things handy. I don't always use it. You know, if I'm on the side of a road or wherever, then I'll just do it normally. But if I can get away with it, well, not if I can get away with it, but if it's all right for me to do it, no, you know, there's no obstacles front or behind me, I'll use it. Yes, it just makes everything a lot easier. Concentrate on bouncing about this field then. Also, some of that's a bit difficult when it's really quite grown up like this. You can see where it was cut last time on the top, but the sides just tend to go really stringy. You don't really know how far to cut it back. Hedges that I was doing, I was sort of struggling because here with 3 years, you want to knock it back a lot, but you don't want to knock it back too much so that just promotes it going even leggier. It's a bit different trying to find a balance of where I want to take it back to, but as yet I don't know, because I haven't cut one and come back to it 3 years later yet. The guy used to do this job, that was his job, and unfortunately he got took ill. Well, it's a real shame, like, it's just a terrible incident that happened at his house, and just so he can't work now. It was a real shame. Paul he was the combine driver, you know, the main combine driver, and he used to drive our Pearson automatic planter and do the hedge cutting. It was a real, you know, a real shame, like. That decent, you know, good bloke. So if Paul ever watches this, then, you know, I wish you all the best, Paul, and you know, I just hope things get easier for you. Yeah, I'm just taking a bit more of the side off. When I want to get to the other side, I'm going to drive a little bit closer. I don't want everything scratching the side of my tractor.